What's something that newer generations will never understand? Making plans to meet friends and having to commit because you didn't have mobile phones to ask where they were, how far, and if they were still coming. And then having to figure out how to find them if something went wrong. I remember once planning to meet a friend at a festival, but I couldn't find her at first. So I made a new friend, someone who'd had the same thing happen to her. I finally found my original friend, and by that time she'd made a new random stranger friend as well. We all ended up having a great time, first at the festival, and then at a nearby club afterwards. Good times. Now if I lose sight of my husband at the grocery store, I have to text him, or we'll never find each other again, because we got confused by the tomatoes or the pancake mix. Finding people is a lost art. Meeting up with a friend at the movies and having no way to communicate once you've left the house your friend doesn't show. Is he coming? Should I continue to wait, standing at the precise spot we agreed on? Has he died? Did he forget? I'll call home using a payphone and hope my mom is there to tell me whether he left a message on the answering machine. Parents not knowing where their kids are and trusting them not to get into trouble. My kids watched Stranger Things with me, and they thought it was unrealistic how the kids would just go ride their bikes wherever late at night. I told them we used to do that all the time. One time I broke my collarbone in a pickup football game and had to ride my bike home. I was like 10 miles away. Come to think about it, it seems rare to have enough kids playing outside to have a pickup football game nowadays. Being able to be an idiot in your formative years and not worry about it being filmed and or put on the internet forever. This is why I feel terrible for anyone born into a family vlog channel. So many are going to grow up and realize that every emotional breakdown they had has been archived and viewed by millions of people because their parents saw them crying and thought jackpot. Checking the payphone change return for any forgotten coins. Back before normal people could afford cell phones, but I had a pager. I used lots of payphones. I knew where all the local ones I could use from my car. One day I pulled up to use one of my normal ones, and I couldn't get a coin in because it was jammed. So I dug out my pocket knife and fiddled with it, and when they all released, I ended up with around $30 in quarters. Felt like I hit the jackpot. The magic of flipping through the booklet of a highly anticipated new CD during your first listen. Just reading lyrics, checking out the illustrations, and getting really into the band. No social media, so you had to invent the artist's personality solely based on lyrics and their music videos. Maybe not universal, but how to entertain yourself with your mind and nothing else. I've noticed something about my friends / people I know in parenting culture where it's now a crime for a child to be bored. When I was a kid my parents laughed and told me to go away when I said I was bored. Having to say BRB to all your friends on MSN because your mum wanted to make a call and having to disconnect from the internet and dial back up when she was done. Plus, the sound of connecting to the internet. Regularly greeting and meeting random strangers outside because the internet did not exist. Also, getting called by a friend on her house phone with another friend secretly on the line. Classic setup. Also having to remember multiple phone numbers by heart. Not being able to make a phone call cause someone was using the internet. One time I was told I couldn't go to my grandma's because I hadn't done the dishes. I always walked to my grandma's and she was expecting me, so I said okay, I'll call her and let her know. My mom was already logged into EverQuest and didn't want to log out, so I could use the phone, so she told me to just go to grandma's. Not having a home computer because the power at your home would never support one and they cost way too much. Not being able to print anything when you eventually did get a small home computer because home printers hadn't been invented yet. The excitement when they came out with the first 3-color ribbon dot matrix printer. Having phones everywhere but in your pocket. Phone booths were all over the place and you had to keep feeding them coins to keep talking. Rotary dial phones. Black and white television because that's what we had. I remember the first time I saw Star Trek at a friend's house on a color television. I was blown away. Those huge console stereos everyone's mom had. Tube amps, turntables and huge speakers. Man, those sounded awesome. Playing your own records on them when mom was out was the best. Those consoles cranked. Spending a Saturday at the downtown public library because you needed answers. And it was fun. Spending most of your summer outside because there are only 5 channels on television and they were mostly boring during the day. Also, you had nothing better to do. No computer, no cell phone, no video games. So you went out and played outside. Explore, make forts in the woods, stuff like that. Making stuff to play with. Taking the number 4 bus down to the beach with 1 transfer so you could go swimming. Spending a Tuesday down at Balboa Park and the zoo because everything was free on Tuesdays and there was nothing better to do at home during summer vacation. We explored everything. Busy signal on the home phone. Not being able to connect to the internet because someone else was using the phone. Carrying around dimes, then quarters, to use the payphone. TV guide delivered each week to your home. If you missed a TV show, live or recording it on VHS, you hoped it would be shown as a rerun sometime during the season. Dressing up on airplanes. Carrying maps in the car. Not being bothered every few minimums by notifications. You checked your mailbox once a day in the afternoon and that was that. Telling people who you are when you answer the phone before you know who they are. And the big one. You are not on call from your job 24/7. There is zero expectation of being able to reach you outside of your scheduled shifts. Honestly, cell phones are great when you want to coordinate with some friends, but outside of that, cell phones have destroyed the ability to relax. Workplaces expect you to own a cell phone because everyone does. Seriously, the sense of urgency for non-urgent matters is BS. Used to be doctors and life-saving fields might get a pager, but for everyone else in the work it was a slower pace. Once you went home, if anyone had a question it would wait until next week/day etc. Waiting in patience. Everything that is available instantly, now that you had to wait and build excitement for next week for the new episode of that cool series. Sunday afternoon to find out if your favorite track had gone up or down in the charts. The next day for the library to open so you could look up that peculiar fact that your mate Dave swore was true in the pub last night. For your 24 out of focus and overexposed photos to be developed for that once in a lifetime event. 6 over 12 months plus for that film you missed at the cinema to be on TV. I never got to experience the hype of the 80s. MTV playing all day, cassette tapes, watching epic movies in the theater. Man, I wish I was alive in the 80s. Oh man, I feel bad for you. I didn't think about it when I was a kid, but the 80s was such a fun time for me. Playing Super Mario Bros. For the first time at a friend's house. Always being outdoors riding bikes. In the summer I would sit by my boombox radio, and when the new hit song came on the radio, I would press record on the blank cassette tape I had in the boombox and record it. Then I'd walk around the neighborhood carrying my radio blasting Girls by Motley Crue or something. Actually having to read an entire book for a search, and how to dismiss a bias. Too much on the internet is a synopsis at times. We can get information anywhere quickly, but how much of it's accurate and does not contain a bias? I sometimes wonder if a piece of history could be removed with ease or overwritten with more sources of information conflicting with an accurate account. A lot of kids these days, TM, don't understand how serious of a thing Y2K actually was. It get dismissed as a bunch of hype that amounted to nothing, like Al Capone's vault. I can assure you that, just because nothing of note happened, that it wasn't hype. They built out segmented networks to simulate stock trades and futures trades and set the date to December 31st, 1999 just to see what would happen, and shit broke badly. As in, every outstanding futures contract immediately switched to the status indicating it was expired. They managed to fix it in time, and it was super expensive and a huge pain in the ass, but the news media made it sound like it was a lot closer of a call than it was. Napster was bomb. Going on chats to prank people like Latin Chat, waiting for a song you liked on the radio, to record it with a tape, those phone homes, that you had to rotate them a few times, to mark a single number to call someone. There was so many fun stuff to do. There were no ads. Thank you Jesus. Miss those days. Also we had to memorize phone numbers. I think that's why we all had good memory lol. Also what I miss the most is privacy. To know nobody was recording you. And also we didn't have to look perfect all the time. We were out playing all day sweaty AF and looking like shit and nobody cared. Everyone was so genuine and true to themselves. Like and subscribe for more edit videos.